Welcome to the DFL Breakdown, presented by GrizLeeGear, with your hosts, Lucas Ford and Ricky Epperson.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the DFL Breakdown, the #1 cartoon side character themed, league-specific, weekly fantasy football podcast in the world. We're back. The both of us are back. We're back from Jamaica. There's no more island vibes here. There's just football vibes in the Dimmadome. We got crazy games. It was a bit of a trap week in the NFL and some winners and losers straight up in the Dimmadome this week. No middlemen, no pushing it around. We just got some 2-0s and 0-2s, and it was a wild week to watch. What did you think of it, Ricky?
Yeah, it was definitely every matchup was one-sided, but it's brought all of the standings pretty tightly knit there in the middle. So a lot of interesting things developing. I lost touch with football out in Jamaica. I'm gonna be honest. Like I have a few rosters, not the Dimmadome, but I have a few rosters where my start sits were all bad and no good. And I came back and someone was like, "Hey, what's going on with this?" I was like, "I really unplugged. I don't know." But I'll drink rum punch, like that's all I was doing all week. I was rum punching. So I don't know. But hey, we're here. It's week 6?
Yeah, we're getting into week 6.
Week 6. Yeah, I lost time in Jamaica. We're getting into week 6, and it's time to lock the fuck in for the rest of the season, okay? You're wed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Honestly, it was very distracting, and I blame at least 3 of my losses.
Well, I can't say I feel your pain because all I did was win out there. I did have to come back and do a little recapping and figure out what the hell was going on the last week or so, because there was definitely some action that we both missed. But talk about action, man. The Patriots getting a win, all the unbeaten teams getting defeated this week. There's just no one left at the top with no losses. Still the poor winless Jets at the bottom, but a lot of shakeup here. So let's get into our game breaker, and we can start talking about what happened specifically this past week in the Dimmadome.
I'm coming! Here I come! Game breaker.
All right. We had some really high scorers here in our recap. Dak Prescott, unfortunately, not doing enough for Chris. Was, game breaker eligible, was the highest scorer on the week, but Chris just had too much of a poor performance. Couldn't get out of his own way and left the big Rico Dowdle on the bench. So no game breaker for Chris on that one. Instead, it's going to go to Jamar Chase with a 32-point performance. 6 catches for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns, most of them in garbage time, but Dylan will take those points regardless. Just barely edged out Jonathan Taylor with a 3-touchdown day for the Colts.
Yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase, I think it was 6 receptions for 120 some odd yards and a couple of touchdowns, and I mean that'll do it. That's the Jamar Chase everyone was drafting. That was the last we'll probably see of Jake Browning. Hopefully, and then Joe Flacco's coming in, so who knows what the future holds for Jamar Chase. But the Target conglomerate, they're up, big up this week. Part of why the pack has kind of coalesced in the middle here at the 500 mark.
Yeah, everybody but Team Joe Biden finding some things to win and build on here. Nate just on the struggle bus on a lot of different levels and really having a hard time at the beginning of the year here, but it's not all hope lost, but it's starting to look grim for Team Joe Biden. But enough about them here. We got to talk about Dylan's team and everything else he put together with this game breaker performance with Jamar Chase. So let's get to the score summary and start there.
Score summary.
Yeah, we saw the retarded Lions take down Team Joe Biden here in part of that giant Jamar Chase performance, but he also got a waiver warrior performance out of Kendrick Bourne here.
Waiver Warrior.
Just put him in for that Thursday game, part of that massive, win that they got in upset fashion with their B team. I talked about it a little bit on the Saturday special episode because we had already seen the game, so I already saw the 24.2 points in there, but it did end up being the waiver warrior and just a great plug-in for Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick Bourne was the reason that the 49ers were able to match the Rams there. Like you said, it was their B team, and honestly, he looked really good the entire time. The defense looked like they had no real good answer for him. I mean, 10 of 11 for 142. What a day. He did it with all without a touchdown. And that's a waiver warrior right there. I think there was a few candidates this week. I know Riley had a few that he was watching, but yeah, you can only have one. It's like Highlander. There can only be one, and it's the guy at the top here, Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne taking it home. Dylan getting the waiver warrior. Make sure to hit us up, Dylan, for your waiver warrior prize. In other contributions on his team, he did get Devontae Smith involved, where they finally got him involved in the offense. 8 receptions there for over 100 yards. They lost that game, but fantasy players are a little more happy with what they got out of it. So I don't know, a win here, a loss there. It's all going to end up evening out for the Eagles. Ooh, that's a little bit of a tongue twister.
So you're telling me that that AJ Brown and Devonta Smith combined for like 18 targets, which is what everyone wanted to see, and the Eagles lost.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, hey, you guys are part of the team now, though, so maybe next week we'll win. And by "will" I mean the filthy Eagles people, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm kind of with the franchise here. Sit those guys.
I don't know about sit 'em, but I do think
Sit 'em down.
do the thing you were doing that was winning you games. I think I messaged you briefly before, and I was like, you think they're just gonna pass it, win or lose, and see what happens, just to placate the squeaky wheels? And though the logical answer was no, it turned out to be yes. They just kind of went for it. They're like, fine, we'll just fucking pass all game and see if that shuts you up. And they lost, so yeah, hopefully they stop bitching and they get back to running, and that'll...
They're like, have you seen who's behind center? It's Jalen Hurts. It's he's a running back who can sometimes throw the ball. Like, calm down. We can't be a passing attack here, guys. Their defense was just leaky too. What was that? Denver
Yep.
got Bo Nixed on. Crazy.
Yeah, which Dylan did
Speaking of Bo
benefit
Nix,
from. Got the 20
yeah.
points out of Bo Nix, and that was a big part of his win. I mean, he won by 53 points, so you can't really pin it on one individual performance, but the collection of big green numbers above projection here definitely set him over the edge. Got him that median win as well, which was at about 150 this week. So Nate, on the other hand, just struggling with everyone but Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's because that's a running back that throws sometimes 2 carries for 3 yards, and all of a sudden they're losing. When's the last time Jalen Hurts only had 2 carries in a game? That's like 2 tush pushers. Maybe Denver was just really like spying on him. I didn't watch the game, being honest. I was drinking rum punch. But, 2 carries for 3 yards. That's not right. That's not right. Yeah, beyond that, Nate's team, I look at his team. I looked at the first 3 guys and I was like, man, what's going on here? And then we see Darius Slayton down there, and I like Alec Manor. I think he's good. I just think Tennessee is finding their identity right now. Zach Ertz, I think that's the second goose egg that he's produced this season, where he's just oh no, it's just one, but he either shows up, gets a touchdown, or I don't know, it's completely irrelevant. He's off the roster now. See you later, Zach Ertz. And then even Mondre, 2 touchdown game. losing fumbles, doesn't matter. Wow, 2 touchdowns and only 14 points. Yikes. So, I mean, what's the deal here? Is it just a 0 hurting him that much? I guess Ryan Burns, a 0, and then those 2 wide receivers I mentioned are
Yeah,
pretty big
Slayton,
dings.
Iamenor just completely dumping on him, Ertz
Yeah,
giving him trouble, and then 10
3
points
spots
out of Chase
combined.
Brown is so disappointing. That's a second round pick. This guy has just been unstartable. I heard some stat about him actually being the worst in efficiency of like all time through 5 weeks with the amount of touches that he's gotten. Out of like,
The line sucks.
yeah, it's bad, but it's is it the worst O line in history? Maybe, like, but this is it's. I think it's the O line, yes, but also Chase Brown is just not really doing it either.
I
Like,
mean, look at those stats, man. It's 8 carries. He carried the ball 8 times. It's 7 receptions
yeah,
for 21 yards. I mean, he's involved in the pass game, but he can't get
he's
anywhere.
going nowhere.
And
He makes
putting
no
the
one
ball on the
miss.
ground is also not good. I don't know, but yeah, I guess looking at those 4 or 5 slots and getting like a combined 10 points out of 5 slots is just never going to cut it.
Yeah.
With Burns down there too, so I guess I don't know. I think that things are real tough for Team Joe Biden right now. I think Nate can pull himself up by his bootstraps, though. I know he's still in here making moves and stuff, but he hasn't been camaraderizing with the rest of us at all because I'm sure opening up the app and looking at 1-9 is disheartening.
Bit rough
I
for
wouldn't
Nate.
know.
Yeah, but it can get better for him. Gibbs can definitely carry you to some wins. He just definitely needs to figure out that wide receiver slot. He's got guys coming back. Rasheed Rice is coming back for him. Xavier Legette is showing promise this week, so we'll see what he does in the future here. All right, let's move up from those guys here and talk about. Why don't we talk about Chris's matchup next? Because we mentioned how he wasn't able to overcome himself on this one. Just under the median for the Tampa Trap House against the AZ 69ers. Alex taking the 2-0 win here, and the 0-2 loss going to Chris. And he had plenty of points waiting out there for him. Kyle Hamilton, he didn't get the notification in time and left him in. Got 0 points out of him. And that you literally start anyone and get some points there, and you missed it by about 2. So
Hey, who needs Kyle Hamilton when Amari DeMarcado could have just held on to the ball for an extra half a second?
that's true
And
too.
giving you an 8-point swing, man. That's an 8-point swing right there. Actually, it could be more. Fumble and fumble loss. That's not like three
No, we
points.
changed it to 2.
Uh,
Made
dumb.
sure.
Um, yeah, it's an 8-point swing. I mean that's the median. It's not the matchup win, but it's the median, and that puts the trap house in a much better place. Being 5-5 is a hell of a lot better than 4-6. At least
True.
one win better. No, it's a pretty big deal. It'll probably I imagine it's going to show itself later on when he's really trying to pull out a win come playoff time, and it's just Amari DeMarcado choking at the goal line. I mean, look at the competition on the other side from him. 31 points from Jonathan Taylor, 31 points from Kyron Williams. I mean, it's an intimidating first 3 there for the 69ers.
Yeah, and it was the first time that Lad McConkey actually got the better of Quentin Johnston in a fantasy finish so far in the heads-up matchup for these guys, so that was pretty funny to see. He got some good points out of Khalil Shakir and, monster performances out of Dak and Jake Ferguson, and even a
Jalen
huge
Waddle.
Jalen Waddle performance with some late touchdowns and some crazy stuff there. But yeah, I'm sure it was a coin flip decision for him between Rico Dowdle and Amari DeMarcado. He's like, I guess I'll start this guy this week. And it ends up just completely blowing up in his face, 6.1 points versus 33.4 points. That's gotta feel terrible as well.
Maybe
It
just
was
chasing
just
the waiver warrior.
yeah, it was just all at your fingertips, and he just couldn't quite get there. he was never projected to get this far, but it was almost enough to give him hope, and it feels that's when the trap house is truly at its cruelest when you've got hope that you'll escape and then you get dragged back down into it.
Does the Rico Dowdle DeMarcado switch put him right next to 175? It's got to be close, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That's almost a 30-point swing. It's like 28 extra points on there. So yeah, that'd be enough. That'd get him there.
Eesh.
That would have won him the game. Just swap those two.
For those keeping count at home, that's 4 out of the 5 weeks we've played fantasy football. The Trap House has had more points on their bench than anyone else. Listen, is it a sticky stat? Is it Chris's fault? I don't know, but it's the truth. It is a fact. He's got the most points left on his bench 4 out of the 5 weeks, and I think he was second place the one off week. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, Chris, start being bold.
So close yet
Do something
so
crazy.
far away.
Maybe he thought DeMarcado was the bold play. Maybe he already did it.
He's trying. He's trying. I mean, Alex on the other end, did put up a crazy performance. It's a lot that he even got close to it. But getting 23.6 out of Debo, 20 out of Sam Laporta, who had a great day, 92 yards and a touchdown on 5 receptions. We already talked about over 30 points for both of his running backs. A pretty good middle of the road week for Daniel Jones. And nothing special out of his IDP slots, but 175 points. It was definitely a big day for the 69ers, a team effort. Everyone put it together. The worst thing was Quentin Johnson, and that's just going to happen. He's going to be a little more inconsistent. He did have that fumble that ended up costing the Chargers quite a bit there, but they were losing that game pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, if Quentin puts up like 10 points there, though, it feels so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Great week out for the 69ers. Looks like ceiling showing for both his running backs. Solid out of Daniel Jones. The scary opponent, 7-3. He's alone up there in third place, I think, in 7-3. Yeah, that's right. We'll look at the standings more in a second, but
yeah, we'll get to the standings soon.
He's pulling away from the pack.
Yeah, 7-3 for him, and then we talked about 3-5-2 for Chris. That's basically effectively 4-6. Okay, let's talk now about. I don't want to miss any of these guys at the bottom because we kind of started down here, so I'm just going to go from the bottom up from here. Let's talk about the apple bottom jeans versus the Crimson Chins. The Chins only putting up 125. We kind of saw this week being a hard one for them, but it was even made worse by a whiff of a Woody Marks start. He looked hot after getting so involved in the week before and getting 2 touchdowns, and then just shows you the signs that it's enough to put him in. And then even in a 44-point win blowout, he only gets 2.4 points and was barely involved at all. So that's super rough. Chris Rodriguez, I know, was a desperation start for him, but you want to get at least a point, right? He didn't even get a single point for him there. So just rough stuff all around. Emeka Egbuka he's got to be happy he has him, but at this point, him and Sam Darnold were great, and everyone else is just kind of letting him down. Chasing points with Tui Pelotu and getting 0 points out of that guy. He hates the IDPs, and he's just making it worse on himself by chasing last week's leaders. And yeah, I mean, he doesn't, if he doesn't get a sack, he's not doing anything, and he just got 4 sacks in one game. It's not going to happen like that.
And 9 tackles, and if you get a sack, it counts as a tackle, right?
Yeah,
I think it does. I don't think I've ever seen a stat line where someone has more sacks than tackles. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, Chris Rodriguez being a desperation play, he's flexing Pacheco. I mean, he's just got nothing going on down here. Christian Kirk can't help him. Didn't want to put Woody Marks and Kirk in, maybe.
He had
Brashard Smith.
He had Kirk in. It was just Brashard Smith and Troy Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, I know that picking up Kareem Hunt and putting him in right next to Pacheco feels like you're betting against yourself in a way, but man, Kareem Hunt seals a touchdown. All of a sudden, you're like, damn. And he's right on the other side, man.
What's crazy is Corey picked him up the night of the game. It was Monday night that Corey went out and picked him up because he still had DK Metcalf in his lineup, and he was like, shit, I need somebody. Went out and picked up Kareem Hunt, and he gets 2 touchdowns. Like, dude, when we see him do stuff like that, when he comes in and makes a move and puts a guy in, just put money on it. Like, it's almost guaranteed at that point. Just go to DraftKings and start putting shit in. Corey picked up Kareem Hunt today. All right, bet a touchdown, bro. I gotta start doing that because he's insane with it. I don't like. How do you do that, man? 155 points, barely gets to the median, swaps in the RB2 the night of Monday Night Football and gets there. Yeah, fuck you, buddy. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the median win there is huge with Kareem Hunt. He does not get there without him, and I mean, I guess it's Kareem Hunt and someone else that needed to get there for him. I think it was Kelsey. Kelsey also had
got 20 points.
He had 3 Chiefs touchdowns. He just went out and grabbed 2 of them off the waivers and had Kelsey for the 3rd. And Pat like run one in or something like that.
Yeah, they both. Yeah, he got. Yep. No, he got one too.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I mean, decent week from the Chins, right? Obviously the running back situation here really screwed him over. But 35 points from Sam Darnold feels good. That's wide receivers doing what they need to do. Surprising he even got to 125. Looking at those RBs and knowing he has a 0 down there in his IDP area. But hey,
he dropped him. I think he dropped Sam Darnold this week.
He didn't do enough for him. Didn't get him a win, you know?
Which is crazy. I'm going to have to double check, but I think he dropped him this week.
Luke, stop talking about it, man. Let's move on. let's move on.
Well,
I don't want to talk about that anymore.
We're going to talk about it when we get to his roster in the projection preview regardless here, but yeah, a tough loss, bringing the Chins to an even record 5-5, and we'll see where they're at. The standings, Corey going up to 4-6 here, getting right in the pack with everybody else, like we're talking about. Good 2-0 win for him. Okay, let's talk about the sleepers versus the Bower of London. Bill Cosby sleepers winning 162 to 138. Just a ton of garbage time points out of Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields again. These guys were getting creamed all game against Dallas, and they just come out in the last little bit of the game and just start scoring random touchdowns that don't mean anything to anybody but Artie, because Artie's just profiting. I mean, he got 50 points out of his Jets in a game that the Jets were getting absolutely smoked for 6/8 of it, man. That's 3/4. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
crazy.
You know, it's 50 points. Give him something a little bit more pedestrian here, like maybe 20 for Fields and 10 for Garrett Wilson, which is probably where they were trending towards. I don't even think Fields is trending towards 20. You know, knock 20 points off a score. All of a sudden, this matchup's a lot closer, right? We're talking about like a 4-point difference. But yeah, the garbage time points come, and they count. They're worth it. You know, they're worthwhile. And I think right now Justin Fields has a ton of them, and Garrett Wilson by proxy. Because at the end of the game, they're just like, yeah, we can let up some plays, and Garrett Wilson's going to make some plays, get some yards. It's a recipe for success. I wonder, you know, if they play a team where that they're, you know, winning against, does the trash time never come? Or, you know, teams, I don't know if there's a team so good that you never get trash time against them. But I guess we're just looking for games they're winning or teams that are really, really bad where they can run on them.
Yeah, either way, I mean, it's been working so far, but it does, you know, it's like, how can you really depend on that to be your engine of your team? But it's working so far, you know, and his IDP's putting up a ton of points for him too, getting 28 points out of these guys is wild. Just a week where his guys hit. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't get a touchdown for the first time in a few weeks, but 8 receptions for 100 yards is nothing to complain about. Dalton Kincaid was great. Nico Collins got a touchdown, a bunch of yards there. It's just a good week for the sleepers and an unlucky time for the Bowers of London, though they didn't get their median win either, so how unlucky was it really?
Yeah, I mean 2-8 here, essentially for the Bower of London. Looks like it's falling. London Bower's falling down. Um, First Saquon game that's really been popping too. He had a big breakaway run if I'm remembering correctly. Or maybe it was the pass. It was a
Yeah, it was the
pass.
big catch.
Big catch. I mean, he ran for all of it. He just like caught it at the line and went. I'm pretty sure, but, yeah, Patrick Mahomes quietly but assuredly like a top 5 fantasy prospect right now, or fantasy producer right now. Um, Probably Tony Pollard's one of Tony Pollard's better weeks. I mean, the signs of life here, Jacoby Myers and the Raiders are a bit more suspect. It's not consistent down there. Brock Bowers didn't play that week. It did not help Myers get his targets up. I mean, it's a lot of green down here, man. It's just a lot of barely green going on.
Yeah, I mean he got a great performance out of Zach Bond. Nick Chubb was a big part of their win, just a consistent, I mean, almost 6 yards a carry there. So great stuff out of him. But, like you said, just barely green, barely over expected. And you can see he was projected 130, 138 was his total. It was a high median week, but honestly,
Probably his best week.
the median's been at 135, 140, 145 a lot, man. Like it's been high, and this is just not enough to get you there, unfortunately. Need more out of Jacoby Myers and the Brian Branch. I think he got injured early in that game and left. That definitely hurt him a lot there. Missed it by about 12 points, and that's what happens. Just got to get a little more out of those guys. All right, let's look at. We already talked about Dylan versus Nate. Let's look at your matchup here. You had a pretty rough one here. 109 points for you.
Hot.
Yeah, and the Basketball Americans heating up, getting a ton of points out of Baker Mayfield in the spot start for the Lamar Jackson injury. He's got Javonte Williams continuing to produce, man. Might have been a great trade for him after all to dump those 2 loser wide receivers and get himself a winner.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 touchdowns again. I mean, I think he's got to be averaging like 1.8 touchdowns a game at this point or something like that. And
135 yards on the ground. He's just doing it.
yeah, no, I mean, he runs well, and Dallas has that dual threat of going to the air too. I mean, Dak threw the ball plenty, and their defense is leaky, and it's a good place to be. He's basically exactly what people want Chase Brown to be. He's Chase Brown. He just came in like the 13th round. So if you're trading AJ Brown, an underperforming AJ Brown, and Jerry Jeudy for Chase Brown, expectations going into the season, it's not that bad. It's kind of fine.
Well,
the way people were expecting Chase Brown to produce, right? He was supposed to be top 5. That guy's top 5.
Yeah, well, it's not Chase Brown, it's Javonte Williams, and he's just Javonteing all over the place. Yeah, 163 points for Riley on that. It's gonna be Baker, it's Javonte, it's a little bit of David Montgomery giving him a 2 touchdown day. One of them through the air, right? Crazy. He threw a touchdown.
Yeah, threw a touchdown in his hometown.
Waller is been great for him. You just got to pick him up and plug him in. That's been excellent. And I mean, look at all these points out of the bottom. Got 22 out of his 2 IDPs here. And Michael Carter was a good start for him there. Almost got the waiver warrior if it wasn't for Dylan putting Kendrick Bourne in. But
yeah, I mean, you look at his projected points down there, 121. Like, that is what you were expecting out of this squad, was to put something like that up, and he Michael Carter, Javonte, David Montgomery throwing a touchdown. Like, those are unexpected things. Darren Waller catching another 2 touchdowns. Is that,
Just
or did you
one.
scroll too fast? 1 touchdown, but 5 for 78. I mean, it was great. It was good. Um, I mean, he overproduced. He's showing his ceiling, and I showed nothing but floor on the other side. So, I mean, even Drake May beat Buffalo. Like, had the game of his career. I've seen nothing but highlights all over everywhere. It's, oh, look what Drake May did in Sunday Night Football, and guess what? It translates to 12 fantasy points. I
Yeah,
mean, it just is what it is sometimes. Didn't get any touchdowns.
yeah, it was a kind of a heartbreaking fantasy performance for Drake May because he got those passes that were like right to the 1 yard line, and then they just go up and run it in. And Ramondre got 2 touchdowns with like 14 total yards. It was all pass game to get him there, and then just run over the line and no Drake May points. So a great win for the Patriots, but sad for Drake May fantasy owners. Only getting 12 out of him. Yeah, Kamara not super involved, even though they won against the Giants. It seems like Kendrick Miller's kind of getting ramped up more and more. I'm sure we'll talk about him in just a second. But yeah, Jamison Williams only 2 points, 1 reception for 9 yards, and a carry for 1 yard. It was nothing doing for him. They look
They
like
didn't
they
need
can
him.
just win without him. He's sometimes
They don't
part of the
need
game
him.
plan, and it is what it is. A disappointment from Juwan Johnson. Brian Thomas only getting you 12. He was getting targeted plenty, but the Chiefs would just hold him. And
Yeah. I watched a lot of that Saints game talking about Juwan Johnson and Alvin Kamara. And they did win 26-14, but that one of those was just a like 95-yard Rashid Shaheed touchdown pass, and it's just like you just eliminate one drive from these guys' fantasy production, and like I said it in the chat, I would needed them to dink and dunk. That's probably like 2 or 3 more targets for Jawan Johnson, and
hey, you rely on
probably
the dink
four.
and dunk.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're dinking and dunking. And then he went, no, we're going to the house for 97 yards. I went, oh, okay, that sucks for me. Um, and it sucks for Leemon too on the other side of it. He got shaheded.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, like some of this red is close, but not quite there. Jordan Mason, Brian Thomas. I liked kind of what I saw at Brian Thomas that game. He had that end zone target where he almost caught the ball but got fouled so hard that they just put him on the line. It's not his fault. It's not even Trevor's fault. And then Trevor tripped himself into the end zone and they won.
That was so funny.
It was great. Yeah, it's an all timer. Um, yeah, no, it's a floor day. Still love Christian McCaffrey. Still terrified to trade him.
Yeah, it's a floor day for the Sorcerers, going to 5-5. The win for the Basketball Americans, bringing him up to 4-6. Sounds exactly like what we just talked about with the DeJeans versus the Chins. The DeJeans winning and going to 4-6, and the Chins losing and going to 5-5. So
Yeah.
definitely a lot of tightening up in the center of the standings here. And we've got a couple more people joining, at least one more, in the Dimsdale Ball Hogs versus the Retardinals. I lost this matchup pretty bad as well, by about 23 points here. Almarian Hampton getting injured right in the middle of that. Well, it was towards the end. He had gotten 13 points for me already, but could have definitely gotten more. RJ Harvey only 6. I didn't really get a whole lot out of Harold Landry against Buffalo. And Keenan Allen was also a little bit of a disappointment as well. But yeah, everyone else was.
For the Chargers.
My Chargers definitely letting me down there, and everyone else really wasn't all that bad. But that's enough to do it. I talked about how that was going to be enough to do it for Eric, just missing it a little bit. I had the same sort of issues, just a couple guys really not getting to where they needed to be, and puts me down at
Hey, you
128.
basically hit your projection. Yeah.
Right where I was expecting to be. Yeah, and I really had no other options here. I had Hawkinson on my bench. I could have, started him. But I got the tight end choice correct here. I got 11.3 out of him, so 9.8 wasn't going to help me anywhere. Andrews wasn't going to help me anywhere either. So I had nothing else to do with it. I just put my best foot forward and tried to get there, but this is just kind of a rough week by design, unfortunately, and I'm hoping for a Hogs bounce back with Jalen Warren returning and getting some action soon out of my other guys coming back here. But Sal, on the other hand, had another good game. Just barely beat the median. He was the sixth place team. Beat Chris by 2 points for that spot. And Rashad White almost was waiver warrior this week as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean he's in contention. We didn't talk about Riley's waiver warriors, but yeah, there's quite a few hot waiver pickups. People are still figuring out what's going on. Injuries are coming in. Things are shifting around. But Sal's core here has remained strong with Puka Nakua and JSN. Those are kind of towing the line for him. I don't think there's been any real big disappointing Tyler Warren weeks so far.
No, he's been
He
good.
flexes. Yeah, he flexes. Yeah, there's a 6-point game. Whatever. Who cares? Throw it out. Brent Strange got flexed out for him. He really only had one start-sit decision this week. It was Brenton Strange or someone on his bench that went crazy right at the top.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Bill.
Bill. It was the big Bill week, and he missed it.
Yep.
He missed it, but still got the medium win, still got the matchup win.
Never punished.
Never punished. This was the week where he was showing as much weakness as he's shown. I think I don't know if he scored any less than this. Maybe he is 9-1. Something must have happened. But yeah, strong team, doing good things. 9-1, very strong record, and it's gonna be hard to knock him off from that.
Yep, and a tough loss for me for the Ball Hogs. I was saying coming into this would be a big test for us, and we failed it. We got to go back to the drawing board. I got to make some changes because things are kind of falling apart. The running back department has been weak, and I'm hoping to just kind of build on the good parts of this moving forward. 14.4 points out of Travis Hunter was really exciting. It's really exciting. I need a lot more of that. That's no touchdown. If he got me 5 points on defense. This is 9.4 points on offense. He got me 5 points on defense. If he can get that ball rolling, maybe 6 points, 7 points on defense, 10 points, 12 points, 15 points on offense, all of a sudden things start really clicking for him. This is only 3 receptions. We can really get there. I know it can be good for him. Just starting to see that kind of all come together. But
yeah, I mean, he's the only IDP that's gonna have the ball thrown to him on purpose. It's kind of a niche thing. He could just take it to the house, and that was the plan the whole time. And no one else can say that, unless you're thinking about ref fixing and stuff like that. But no, that's everyone? We didn't miss anybody here?
Yeah, that's everyone. We just wanted to talk about the standings real quick after that, because we've kind of alluded to them a little bit here. We've got the Sleepers undefeated still at 10-0, followed closely by the Retardinals at 9-1. That's Sal at second here. Alex and the 69ers are in third place at 7-3. And then here is the big grouping, all of between fourth place and ninth place. It's half a week, even 10th place, right? Because he's technically 4-6 as well. It's within one game of each other, and it's not even that, because you can make up two spots here. So each week with your 2 games, one against the median. The Chins are in 4th. You're in 5th. Dylan is in 6th, with all 5-5 records all being determined by points for there. And then at 4-6, it's me, it's Corey, it's Riley, and it's Chris. which Chris would actually be up in 8th place if this was organized correctly for playoff seeding. So a big grouping between 4 and 10. These any one of these names can be moving in any single one of these spots here, which is horrifying. You really need to
Well, that's
lock up
win
a
week.
win right now. Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
big turning point in the season here. You know, we've gone through about a third of like the fantasy season. Go to week 14 until the playoffs are decided, and we've done 5 weeks. So, um, this is when the haves and the have-nots get separated, and we're gonna
The
see
witching
who's. It's
hour.
the witching hour. Yeah, we'll see. It's the early window witching hour, and we'll see if that can happen in the Dimmadome here.
Dimmadome!
That's right, Scott. Thanks for that. All right. After all of that, we got our 2 bottom teams rounding us out here. The Bower of London has been just getting dumped on by everybody. Literally 756 points against so far, points allowed. Really, really rough for him. He's scored a lot. He scored a lot more than a lot of the people that are above him in the rankings, and that's sad to see. But he's at 2-8, and hoping to turn that around. Finally, we got Joe Biden at the bottom. Hasn't cracked 600 points scored yet. This has been bad for him, man. He's scoring, what is that, like 108 points a week or something pathetic. That is just not going to get you there. It's amazing he has even 1 win. Shape up, Nate. You got to do better than that. But that is it for the standings. We got some people making some moves, trying to correct these things. Obviously, we had some deep, embarrassing losses the last couple weeks, some holes being exposed, and some things trying to get filled. So let's take a look at the waiver wire and trades action and see what has happened before we move into week 6.
Waiver wire and trades.
We're back. All right, we had a bunch of claims here. There was a lot to talk about with these guys. Starting off with Matthew Stafford at the top. He has been lighting it up. He's been feeding Puka. He's been feeding Devontae Adams. They are, even when they're not winning games, they're close. They're in them. They're scoring 20, 25, 30 points in all of them here. And that is all thanks to Matthew Stafford. He had a few claims go through for him, but Alex was the one that managed to pick him up here.
Yeah, he actually blocks the stack from me and Sal. Both Sal and I we have Sal as Puka and I have Devontae. We're both in there as the second and third claim. But Alex picks him up, and he's probably just going to sit behind Dak anyway. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, Matthew Stafford, quietly but surely just lighting it up. I think his thing says he's turning back the years. He's young. He's throwing touchdowns. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's been cool to see, and he's just been consistent as ever. So Alex picking him up, getting some depth at QB. We've got Sal getting David Njoku here after he was dropped by Riley last week. Leemon tried to put a claim in for that, but didn't get his hands on him. Leemon did get Mason Taylor instead over you, who was the other claim on that one. You were looking to pick up Mason Taylor, but Leemon snatched him out from under your nose there.
Yeah, I had Mason Taylor behind Kendre Miller in my waiver claims.
Mm.
But I knew I know Leeman's been hot on Mason Taylor. He's the second target leader on the offense. There's really no one else to throw to besides Mason Taylor and Garrett Wilson. But I have tight ends. And honestly, so does Leemon. You want to know what Leemon doesn't have? Running backs. He's down there claiming Kendre Miller too. I feel like he might have been better off trying to put a claim in for him first instead of getting his guy Mason. But I don't. He plugged him right in as a flex. So
Excited to get Mason Taylor going. Maybe there's something about like his college or something that Leemon really likes. We never pay attention to that stuff, but
he's from Bama, I'm sure. No, he's from LSU. LSU
Okay.
tight end.
Oh man. Um, but
Big deal.
anyway, we had a Hassan Haskins pickup here. I was the other claim on that one, but I had him behind Vidal myself. So I ended up getting Vidal first on that, and Riley getting Hassan Haskins. Um, we've seen Haskins in the league for a few years. He's been backups in a couple different places. I think he's probably got the edge on the job right now, but I think they'll both get opportunity. And I think if anyone is going to explode out of the unknown, it might be the younger guy that the Chargers drafted. So I'm hoping that it's Vidal. You can see I picked him up and dropped Hawkinson, and Riley picked up Hassan Haskins and dropped Justice Hill there. You talked about Kendre Miller being a good pickup for you. We've seen a little bit of decline with Kamara this last week, and a lot more snaps for Kendre Miller coming in. So if that ends up being a transition, you're prepared for that. Or if Kamara was to miss any time, you also have an option there. And
They
he's
might
definitely
just
just been
trade
involved.
Kamara. Like you never know, man. Um,
Certainly possible. I think they
yeah,
just restructure his contract though or something.
they they gave him a pretty big deal last season and then kept him out of games because they just paid him and they weren't going to win anything anyway.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, if this man tweaks his quad just a little bit, they're gonna be like, yeah, get him out of there, sit him back. We're not gonna let him get torn up completely. They're like what 1-4 right now
Something
already.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. So Kendre Miller might get the nod here, and if he does, again, like you said, I'm prepared for it. Handcuffed for injury, or if someone gets traded or moved somewhere, great. Uh, could see Alvin Kamara being pretty good for like the Chargers.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Um,
Oh
but
yeah, would that be cool? Just kidding. Omari and Hampton come and steal a shine. No, I was joking about that mostly, but um, yeah, the Haskins Vidal thing. I think it's a coin flip. I think they'll probably split the backfield more than anything. If one of them comes out and turns into like the prime back for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I will be genuinely surprised.
yeah, we'll see if I end up starting him or not. I've been kind of going back and forth because I got him, and we'll see. There's a couple other pickups that we got to talk about here. Um, Mr. Set and Forget, Diane Henley getting dropped for a different guy, Nick Herbig. So
Like drop and forget. Am I right?
yeah, more like drop and forget. We've got Tyler Horton being picked up for Leemon, dropping Chris Rodriguez after the letdown this week. There was another claim on that. It was me. I wanted Torrey Horton as well. I don't know how high up he was in the list for me, though. I had a couple other guys I was trying to pick up first. And one of them was Keishon Butte. I thought I had put a claim in for Tyquan Thornton as well, and I ended up going through and picking him up in a bit. I even dropped Butte for somebody else a little later here, um, because Kenneth Gainwell was dropped for something, and I ended up picking him up instead of Booty. So I've got Thornton, and I've got, who did I just say? Kenneth Gainwell, and I got Vidal this week for changes there. Couple more guys moved down here as well, and Sam Darnold, yeah, getting dropped for Tyrone Tracy after a 35-point week. I thought that was very interesting.
Oh,
Uh,
Kenny G just got dropped after like a 34-point week as the RB2 for the Steelers. It's a
yeah,
good handcuff for you. I was also in on that claim. I would have got him too. I just didn't realize I filled up both my slots and I didn't have I didn't have him set to get dropped for a guy. But I think Kenny G's a good pickup. I'd rather have him than one waiver order priority over you. But there we are at 12 and 11. You're as
woo.
far back as it goes.
Yeah, I
But
had to make a lot of claims this week because I definitely had some injuries, and there was no just waiting for free agency on this one because
no,
there's a lot of stuff to move. So that's it for the waiver wire, though. There was definitely some more free agency moves, but we'll see what ends up being put into lineups as we get into the projection preview. No trades this week so far, at least. We'll talk about any as they come up next week, though. Okay, so let's go over to the projection preview, and we can talk about Week 6 and what's happening in the Dimmadome coming up.
Projection preview.
All right, we already talked about it, so why don't we just touch on it again real briefly before we move on to some other exciting matchups as well, because I'm thinking about putting Vidal in, but I did pick up Tyquan Thornton as well, so I've got Travis Hunter down in my IDP slot, filling in for me down there, letting me field another offensive guy, and I'm really just trying to figure out this last flex slot, so we'll see if I end up double charging it down here or if I switch that up for a Chief in that Sunday night game versus Detroit. But either way, not favored against the Trap House here. It's looking rough for me. I've definitely got some stuff to overcome here. My RB core is looking definitely weak compared to his with no Hampton. And my wide receivers are not really making up a whole lot of ground. So I got to hope that Keenan Allen comes through for me and that Travis Hunter really puts together that dual threat action that I was just talking about in the summary there. What do you think about the Ball Hogs' chances going into this one?
Well, I mean, Josh Allen's got a chip on his shoulder after losing at home. He moves into a Monday night game, prime time again at Atlanta in a dome. I don't know. You probably see primetime Josh Allen out there. I think he needs to give you a pretty big edge over Dak Prescott. Obviously, Dak Prescott's biggest target right now is Furious George himself. So, you kind of have the blocker there. I think that could be important here. Um, Buffalo, Buffalo's probably going to be able to. Well, I guess I don't know. I shouldn't say they should be able to block up Bijan Robinson. But he's got both the running backs in that game. If it turns into a slog or if it's just a shootout, then maybe those guys just don't see as many things. Bijan's obviously a part of the passing game a bit, but I don't know. There's a lot going on in that Monday game. It's going to be a Garfield type of week for you. This guy hates Mondays, man. It it comes down to Marv, man. Marv needs to either show out or, like, if he puts up 14 points for you, it's just not going to be.
It really isn't.
He needs like 2 touchdowns and 80 yards and like 7 catches, and it shouldn't be that hard. 2 touchdowns is hard, but 7 for like 80 yards. That should be baseline. That should be floor.
They need to come out and prove that they're not totally inept after the way they lost that last week against the Titans. Like, the Cardinals need to come out and redeem themselves. So if they're not throwing their ball at the money, right? Like, stop fucking around, play for your job, throw the ball at the money, and make them catch it. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. And you've paid Trey McBride, and you drafted Marvin Harrison like number 3 overall or something stupid. So throw the freaking ball at him a billion times and either go down in flames or start winning. Like, it's insane what they've been doing out in the desert. But they're playing in Indy for this one. Hopefully no one goes crazy and gets stabbed trying to rob someone at a car in Indianapolis this week. But we don't have any Mark Sanchez's on either team here. So the Trap House, though, does have plenty of people that would be trying to stab people in it. That's just kind of how it goes. We'll see if he leaves Kyle Hamilton in after he left him in and got 0 points out of him last week. That guy might still be banged up. He was on the practice field on Wednesday, limited session. See if he plays. Rico Dowdle getting fired up.
Yeah, is Chuba out for another week?
I think so.
I think he's like day-to-day right now.
Day-to-day is what they're saying, but it's a calf injury. Spicy. We'll see.
Rico looks good, man. Rico, like, Chuba and Rico, both with opportunity, can produce, so it's a little spooky. Dallas's run defense, not great. not super duper, but I don't know. Does Rico Dowdle go back to back show out weeks? I don't know about that either. Yeah, I don't know. It's a big Monday thing. I think that Keenan Allen should do well into Miami. I think the Chargers are going to have to rely on the pass game a bit more because their running backs are their third and fourth string guys. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They're down their two starters, right?
Yeah,
Um,
but he's got Lad
so
McConkey too. I
it's
gotta
gonna
be,
be Keenan Allen, though. Come
dude. I
on.
gotta be threading the needle on this. Long story short, Josh Allen has to either run it in himself or throw it to somebody else that's not Shakir. Because if
Oh
they
yeah.
if they hand it off, it's James Cook. If he throws it, I can't get it to Shakir. If the Chargers are throwing it, I hope it's to Keenan Allen and not McConkey. If they're running it, I hope it's not. I hope it's to Vidal and not to Haskins. There's so much crap here. It's
I think.
basically impossible to root for, but that's the 39% the ball hogs are angling at.
Hey, let's get some separation then. Let's get Vidal out of there. I don't think he's a good start this week. Put Thornton in, man. The Chiefs are gonna have to air one out to get it over on Detroit. There's no chance that they just grind them down. There's no chance. And if you're not gonna start him this week, then when are you gonna start him? Rashi Rice comes back next week.
Yeah.
What's he here for?
Yeah, but yeah, yeah.
I understand not putting Kenny G up against Cleveland,
Well,
but and
it's because
especially
I
with
got Warren
Warren's
in.
back.
Yeah.
Warren's back. But I don't know. I wouldn't put any faith in Vidal to produce in that game where you already have pieces on both sides. Like you're saying, you're gonna have to thread the needle there. Honestly, RJ Harvey. Now you bring it up. RJ Harvey and Harold Fannin kind of need to like show out. Hey, we're getting a live swap, everybody. How's
There
it
you
look?
go.
How's it feel?
Feels worse now. My percentage is worse, which makes me sad.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but
I've
it's better.
I've swapped it out, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's
Yeah,
talk about the
60.
69ers
Gotta
versus
leave
the
the trap
Chins
house.
here. Um, and see what's going on. He's got Brock Purdy going. Is Brock Purdy going to play this week?
And he's day to day.
He missed practice Wednesday. Yeah, that's rough. I don't think he's playing this week. I think we might get another Mac Jones game if he can scrape himself off the ground and get out there for another start because he looked like he was in serious pain. This is an injury matchup here. We got Bucky Irving hobbling his way out for the Chins right now. I don't think he's going to play this week. Sleeper doesn't think he's going to play this week. So that is something that's going to have to be adjusted. He's got Mason Taylor plugged straight in here. He did pick up Mr. Lloyd here, Devin Lloyd. He picked him up this week, I believe. So that could be, could be a waiver warrior kind of guy. We don't even know.
Wow, he's like Sam Darnold out, and also I need the linebacker that's gonna be playing against them because that's how
Because he sucks.
bad Seattle is
And I
at
also need
winning.
Torrey Horton because. Is it Torrey Horton? Yeah, did I call him Tyler Horton earlier? It's Torrey
I think you
Horton.
call him Corey.
But
Yeah, he picked up Corey Horton. He dropped the stack. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Leeman's doing.
crazy stuff.
Um,
He's keeping Christian Kirk through the bye. That's what he's doing.
it
Needs
looks
that
like
guy.
it looks like Alex's bench could just run over a starting lineup right now. Just kidding. It's I'd say Davis and
He's got
Facial Student.
Stafford and Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy here. I think maybe that's why he went out and picked up Stafford. You still just play Daniel Jones in Arizona, right?
At home into Arizona sounds pretty good. Matthew Stafford into Baltimore sounds pretty good too, though.
And he's still floating Purdy out against Tampa Bay in the first place. I mean, that seems crazy.
Maybe it just hasn't been attended to yet, right? I mean, Thursday night game is Dallas, New York, so I don't think he's got anything to do with that. He's got a couple days to get it done. But yeah, I mean, if you look at Leeman's team over here, he's got some running back woes, but his wide receiver core is very strong. On the other side, Alex has no running back woes, and his wide receiver core is good. It's very good. I don't think it's as good as Leeman's. I think Ibuka Odunze. Who's the other guy he's got up there? Sutton. I think those guys are kind of edging out Huge and Debo. But I don't know. Alex's team's spooky.
It's been strong. It's been consistent, and he's got AJ Brown going tonight.
Oh, there's two Monday night games.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I was going to say is that the Buffalo game's at 7:15, and this game, the Bears versus the Commanders, is at 8:15. So another Monday night doubleheader. Garfield mode for real. We're all going to be waiting on some Monday night heartbreak and see who's going to have their dreams crushed at the last minute. There's going to be more of those than normal this week. Alex is looking to have this one in the bag regardless. He's got, if Purdy's out, he's got options here. He's definitely got some strong projections in all of his slots. And Leemon is just struggling to find a running back that can be consistent for him. So I'd give the nod to Alex here as well. In my own personal feeling, sorry, Leemon, but I don't know how you get it over on this one. You hope Jordan Love goes nuclear against the Bengals, I guess.
And he will.
And he will. So there you have it. To Matthew Golden. All right, well, let's look at, speaking of Matthew Golden and his projections. Right now, you are not projected to beat the undefeated Sleepers, but pretty close. You have as good a chance as any on this one here. You're hoping Kamara does play versus New England and does well, even though their defense looked pretty strong against the Bills this week. You're hoping Brian Thomas maybe gets that touchdown that you've been waiting for. He's got the touchdown so far, but they've been few and far between. And you're hoping that Golden has that breakout game here. But on the other hand,
few start sits. I'm juggling still. I mean, there's Thomas, Golden, JMO. I've been looking at getting Darnell Mooney or Josh Downs in here, Kyle Pitts or Juwan Johnson. I don't know. Evan Ingram's in the mix. How am I supposed to pick anything? I'm in analysis paralysis right now, but we're going to put something together to take down the 10-0 team. Last week it was a big test for you. This week I'm taking on the exam, and I'm hoping that the London games trip up a couple of Artie's guys and give me the window to come in here and get a 2 a week.
Yeah, he's trying to capitalize on Diggs seeing more of that volume, and he's just trying to siphon off whatever Drake May points you score through him. He does have those London games populated himself here with Fields and Dobbins and Garrett Wilson going there, so getting a bunch of points early in the morning, hopefully, if you're Artie. And then, you're both going to be very interested, ETN versus Brian Thomas, in that Seattle versus Jacksonville game. And it's going to be coming down to Monday night to see what Kincaid does to wrap this all up here. Kincaid and Bobby Wagner going Monday for you. So,
hey, it's a good point. It's Monday Kincaid, huh?
Yep.
We're going to have dueling tight ends.
Oh, boy. All right, the live
goes.
swap. It's the week of the live swap on the pod here. We've got some movement happening, and Kyle Pitts going in for the Sorcerers against Dalton Kincaid. Heads up in a Monday night matchup. We'll see if that ends up being a kiss of death for the Sleepers, or if the Sorcerers fail the spell and end up taking a loss because of a Kyle Pitts-esque night. It'd be pretty funny to see.
We'll see. I reserve my right to change that. I've never been hurt by Kyle Pitts because I've never rostered him before, so this might be my first rodeo. But hey, the other thing is I've never rostered him before. What if I'm just extremely lucky? And I am.
We'll see. There's a first time for everything with Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts has been waiting for me to break out.
All right. Well, we got the Bower of London versus Team Joe Biden here for the bottom of the barrel matchup. Some
Someone's
somewhat
getting a
low
2-win.
projections. Someone's getting to 2 wins, even if they both get a median loss and it's a wet noodle fight. Tony Pollard and Chase Brown both been disappointing this year. We'll see if one of them can really turn up the heat. We've got Saquon Barkley going tonight, but nobody else going tonight in that Thursday night game besides Zach Bond. Oh, some IDP stuff going on down here. Brian Burns and Zach Bond going tonight. And speaking of the IDPs, we got Brian Branch and Aiden Hutchinson going at the same time versus the
Cooper Kupp,
Chiefs.
Charbonnet, it doesn't stop.
Oh my gosh, we got all sorts of matchups going here. The double and then the double Raiders versus the double Patriots there. Some cool symmetry on both sides, and it doesn't stop there because their records are also pretty symmetrical as well. So yeah, these guys both hoping to turn it around. Patrick Mahomes leading the charge for the Bowers of London, and getting Brock Bowers back could be big for him. I do want Nate to win one, though. I feel like his team deserves better than what he's been getting. And but he's starting Ramondre Stevenson, so die, Ramondre Stevenson.
I mean, this feels like a cage match, like a fighting for the custody of. I can't think of the WWE thing. They're like fighting for the custody of a kid. The loser here just needs to retire, right? It's a retirement match. Your season's over. If you can't pull it out here, then when are you gonna pull it out?
Talk about turning point. This is definitely a turning point for these guys.
Yeah. The whole rest of the league is fighting for the middle. These guys are like, which one of us is getting cast to the depths of hell, and the other one is gonna start their crawl back up to the top. It's one to watch, everybody. It's a slum fight, but it's these guys are probably going to be like 180 to 175 by the end of the week or something like that, because that's just how fantasy works.
Yeah, when it was me and Nate wallowing in filth at the bottom, that was when Nate got his one win because he scored like 150 points against me, and I scored the highest in the week. And that's when I made my turn back into the middle of the pack here. So we'll see if it can be the fire under somebody's butt to move them back up the standings here.
We are not at the halfway point yet, and anything that happened in the first half can happen in the second half. So there's time to turn your first half around. That 1-9 could be like 5-9. 5-9 feels crazy, right? I mean, that's way better. Doesn't feel great, but it's a great start. Okay, it's a great start to your 20-9 season.
It's got to start somewhere. All right,
let's break at a time, baby.
Let's finish these guys out. We got this matchup and one more left here. It's the apple bottom to jeans versus Dylan and the retarded YNs. We've got Cam Scadaba going tonight. Corey's still got Justin Jefferson in, so he probably won't see that until Monday, and he'll just randomly pick somebody up. No, he's got Jones, DK Metcalf. Please swap DK Metcalf in. Yeah, this is his bench here. We'll see if he sticks with Justin Herbert. Besides that first week, Herbert has not been the play here. So Jaden Daniels is back. It's a Monday night game, but he really should probably put him in, man. You drafted him high for a reason. Yeah, I mean, he's not listening, but I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not talking to Corey.
To the universe.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously DK's the easy switch there. I agree. Jaden Daniels goes in. You drafted him to start him. Chargers lost a dimension of their offense. Justin Herbert and his line weren't even getting along last week. I don't know if you saw the clip where he like called the coverage and the center said something completely different, and then he went no, and then the center said motherfucker or something like that and snapped the ball. Like he's like, oh, like it's fucked, and then he got blown up because like they were off page with each other.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it's 4-6 and 5-5, man. Time to put up or shut up. I don't think Corey's. I mean, I guess now at 4-6, Corey's record kind of reflects his team well enough, but He's been doing well. His points for and points against are, um, in a spot where he could have easily had a better record right now, and Dylan is ascending. So we'll see if he keeps on doing it. He's got 2 rookie running backs that he's hoping to just continue to climb. Trevion has to get the ball at some point, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, no more Gibson, so should at
Air
least be getting the
Flacco.
RB2 work there. But it's better than nothing, better than what some other people, cough, cough, the ball hogs are dealing with at RB. Um, so I'd rather have Travion in that situation here. But in any case, he's still starting Chiga Conkle. I think Kittle might be coming back for him. Is he the one with Kittle, or he is likely? Um, yeah, he's doing poorly there, but we'll see if he keeps that going. And then he's got Devonta Smith going tonight. So I think Corey wins this one if he actually puts in DK Metcalf. He probably can pull this one out. But it would actually require some roster management. We'll see if that ends up taking place between now and then. What's your take? Who wins? Who wins?
Jets. I think this one probably goes to Dylan. Actually, I think. I don't know. Is H-Han really gonna get 20 points? Has he just been doing it every week? Despite I haven't been able to follow. I'm with you in too many leagues, and that means I don't have Devon H-Han and at price and anywhere.
I mean,
Um,
he's been pretty rock solid at 16 points for the last 3 weeks.
but it's not 20.
It's not
It's
20, but he has the option to get up there. He can. Those have been like floor plays in losses.
yeah. I mean, he's got like a touchdown every week, but yeah,
He's great.
floor play. Yeah, good for a TD. I don't know. The Chargers defense, I feel like is pretty middle of the pack. I feel like they get touted as being like really good, but I don't know, Chargers just kind of in a slump right now. We'll see if Miami and them are kind of slumming themselves right now. Scadaboo's got Tracy coming back to, he's not going to take the role right back, but they're going to share touches now. They're going to compete. Tracy's in the pass game a lot, and Scadaboo's got the fucking giant Lord of the Rings troll thing on that he's got
Yeah.
going on, where he just runs through people. But the I don't know. Him and Dart are really tight, but Dart's not doing the play calls, so I'm sure Trace will be in there often enough.
Yeah.
Um,
All
all
right.
right.
So Dylan wins that one in your book. All right.
Yeah.
Because Corey's whole team is going to collapse. Gotcha. All right. Let's talk about the Basketball Americans and the Retardinals to wrap this one up here. Sal has got a big advantage in the projection, almost 30 points above him here, and nobody's missing due to injury or anything. And he's even got a 4-point projection out of Nick Herbig. It's just, man, he's got Bill fired up, but 23-point projection at Puka Nakua, 20 out of Jackson Smith and Jigba. Even Rashad White getting projected almost 20 points. That's insane. That's insane. That's a lot. Jeez. Even with Kyler Murray and I don't think he just automatically scores 150. I know he's been scoring 150, but it just seems like a lot here. 12 points for Fred Warner. When is he doing that?
Constantly.
Nah, he's done it twice.
Constantly. That's the highest paid linebacker in the league. I know that. It's a thing I know.
Yes, it is.
Um, Herbig's been sacking people. Is he going to sack Dylan Gabriel? Probably.
Probably.
Ted McMillan into Dallas. It's
Good matchup.
Trayvon Diggs gonna be looking at him all game. I don't know. Dallas is weird. They do let people score on them, so I mean, there's that going for them. I don't think they've had their defense win them anything so far. Rashad White in San Fran does not feel like an 8-point week. It feels like a Bucky overcorrection. Jason is kind of like that though, for sure. I mean, Riley's side is all running back. I mean, Derrick Henry against the Rams. Damn. He could do it though.
He's Derrick Henry.
what he's done in the beginning of the season isn't indicative of like his skill as a player. He's struggling. Can't really find the end zone too often. No Lamar, most likely. I'm sure they'll have him sit out until the bye because why rush him back to a 1-4 team? Unless you really think you can climb out. Man, Cooper Rush looked really bad. I don't know. This is really tough. Either the Basketball Americans stay hot here, and have something to say about Sal and his 9-1, or Sal is just going to kind of cast him down.
You think this is tough? I think he's going to get smoked. I think Riley's going to get smoked on this one. I think he had a big spike week last week. I don't think Michael Carter gets him fucking 18
Oh, that's
points
what I'm
again.
saying. He's going to have to stay hot in order to overcome Sal here. He needs
okay. I thought you
another
meant this was a
game.
tough decision. I was like, it's not tough for
No,
me.
no,
Sal is
it's
going
not
to
tough.
smoke his ass.
I think Sal is favored here. Obviously, it's fantasy; anything could happen. But Sal is favored here, in my book. But hey, if he can get 6 touchdowns out of his 4 running backs again, and Baker Mayfield can, show out against San Fran, then there's a chance. He put Bill in. Bill might return to.
Bill going Monday night.
Yeah, Bill might just return back to being Bill. Like 8 points. You see him talking to Tom Brady? You see that little interview that he did?
He was so excited.
He was so pumped. He was like, you could tell he was like meeting his hero. It's awesome. No, I mean, so Riley and I are playing against the 1 and 2 guys this week. I'm at 5 and 5. Riley's at 4 and 6. There's some parallels being drawn there by me at least. We're not scrapping with any of the middle of the pack guys. If we want to keep ascending, we got to knock down the Titans.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. You know, one wrong move here and you guys slip further down away from the rest of the pack here moving up. You definitely want to be part of that, and I'm sure everyone would be happy if you brought those two kind of back down to the realm of the living here. So in any case, that's it for the matchup, so nothing left to do but to watch it here. Starting with that game tonight, the Eagles versus the Giants, like we were saying there, and that should have a lot of implications for quite a few people here. So that's going to do it for this one. Did you have anything else you wanted to leave the people with before we get them out of here?
Matthew Golden's coming off a bye. It's Matthew Golden breakout week. It wasn't the week before Jamaica. Sorry. It was close. It was really close. He's this close. And go Sorcerers.
All right. Well, go Sorcerers. Go Hogs. Thanks again for listening. Love you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Enjoy the game tonight. Later.
Thank you for listening to the DFL Breakdown. Tune in next week for more.